Hi, everyone. Welcome to another intention setting clinic here at Spiritual Workout, where you all know me as Sam, the co-host and technical support for Spiritual Workout. Um, so as you know, there are three ways to interact here in this clinic. The first is the chat. It's open for you guys to say hi and participate. There is the Q&A, that is there for you to ask any questions that you wouldn't want to come up for. And finally, there is the raise hand feature that just signals to us that you'd like to come up, have a full spiritual workout discussion, and turn your desires into shiny, clear intentions. So with that said, Stephen, let's bring you on up.
Well, hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, hi, hi. Thanks for getting us going, Sam, as always. Nice to see you haven't been eaten by alligators
Not
since
yet.
last we saw you. Not yet. Good to know. Hi, Leslie and Gina and Aaron and Christiana. Good morning, crew.
Hi, everyone.
How are you today, Sam?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Early morning doctor's appointment. Really tired, but
Hmm.
we roll.
Anything intention-wise you want to discuss today? No?
I
Looks
don't
like you
think
have
that's it.
sort of a halo
Hmm?
going. You have kind of a halo going there.
A hair logo?
Halo.
Halo.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that has to be my lamp. There it is.
Yeah, there you go. A
It's a little lopsided.
little bit. All right. Anyway, so nothing for you today,
No.
clinic wise.
Um, well, we got a few people here. Maybe somebody else has something.
Maybe somebody does. So, as we were saying, hi, Leslie and Aaron and Christiana and Gina. Who wants to talk about some spiritual workout stuff? Anyone? Is everybody in listening mode today? We've been having some good convos of late. Of course, I always think that once we have one.
Very true.
Ah, you do, but you don't. Well,
Well, would you like to anyways?
that's more than anyone else is saying.
Leslie's silent in her
Oh,
cubicle.
yes, we understand, Leslie. No, no pressure there. In fact, somebody at work choosing to tune into spiritual workout, even if they can't fully participate because they're at work. Well, you know, I like that choice personally. Makes me smile. So, yeah, that sounds like Christiana will come up.
Let's
So,
bring you on up.
save the day. Leslie has saved the day for us in the past, so it's only fair. Hi. You don't really have to say anything if you don't want to.
It's about my email, so you can
From the
understand.
weekend, or
Yes.
did I miss another one?
No, that
Okay.
one.
All right. Do you want
So,
to share what
oh,
the
that's why I
gist of
said
that?
I don't, because it's like I am having a split from reality, you
A
know.
split or an expansion?
You tell me.
All right. Do you feel like you have broken from reality and no longer know what reality is?
No, it's more like um the avatar that is rising, who also happens to be this energy alchemist, is like, what version of me are we on now at this point? Like just a completely different uh, uh energy. Um, and it's more difficult to like just navigate the whole like, well, I have a job that I have to do. And I'm like, I don't want to do this job at all. I just want to go outside, but I'm very grateful for having a job. Oh yeah, I have to be really careful what I do with my energy. I might kill someone, like I'm just sort of like, what is happening right now? And the spiritual surgery was 10 days ago. And since then, like, I have not had that sensation in that spot again. It's just like being a whole different person. But since this is the intention clinic, it's like, well, what do you want? And I made a list of this person, what they want to do. He said, take care of my body, learn how to use my powers for good. Oh, and
Mhm.
he was found. Did I tell you that? I don't remember if I circled back.
What was found?
The boy.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if I included that in my email or not, because it was like in the morning, I was like, okay, maybe I'll send him some more healing energy. And I heard like, maybe just check and see if he's been.
So can we just back just for anybody who's listening? Let me see if I can get the gist of this. So Christy is exploring uh, metaphysically, right? And exploring, expanding, experimenting with working with different energy, the whole concept of an energy alchemist as an energy worker, an energy light worker has come up in the last many weeks. And I, it seems like, Christiana, that you're kind of learning about and playing with all these different energies and experiences. Is that a fair way to encapsulate what we're talking about, generally speaking?
Yes.
Okay. And then over the weekend, there was an experience of sending energy to somebody in the world who might need it because Christiana happens to be playing around with, and I don't mean to minimize it, but in a lot of ways, that's sort of what it is, right? Playing around with this whole idea of energy, energy alchemist, energy beyond me, energy I can send, energy I can feel, energy that, right? And
Well, and also remembering, as I'm learning this,
mhm,
there's a difference that I noticed between like the energy in uh like with affirmation or manifestation or saying like this storm is not happening in my reality, like when I ran my marathon and it said it was going to rain and I was like, "Pfft, not in my reality," and it didn't rain, where that was an actual just like intention or affirmation or whatever you want to call it. But then when I had set all that aside and was like, I'm not going to do any manifesting, I'm just going to let life be in charge. And then these really big thunderstorms came, if you remember that, when I was like, I'm scared and I don't have to be this like shrinking violet. And like, I'm going to put this bubble around my house. Like, that was like, I could feel the energy going through me. And that
mhm,
wasn't mine. That wasn't me conjuring, like, I'm going to be a powerful whatever. It was like almost summoning this energy.
mhm,
And so, what I notice now, like the energy that was sent to the boy, like it's that way. Like it's not coming from me, it's not mine, it goes
mhm,
through me.
mhm. And
Um,
you're directing it.
Right. But I'm not supposed to direct it in a bad way, which, when we did the hypnosis, I was like, I would never do that unless they were bad people. And then I'm like, I should just kill them. And then it was like, don't do that. I was like, oh, right, 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 right. That's what they were talking about.
Mhm,
So, um, yeah, it's really like I feel like I've stepped into a different, like a different book. Do you know what I mean? Like we had the book that was Christy and her life and her experiences and her story and all that stuff. And then at some point it was like, that book is done. Now there's a whole different book. And like trying to learn how that version works in the world, what she wants in the world, how not to blow up airplanes. you know? Like, remember way back when, I don't even remember what year that was, where I was like, I feel like I could be flying this plane on my energy
Yes, I do remember.
alone. I didn't know then. Now, like all those little pieces are coming together. It's like, oh, you've always had that, and now you're learning how to like channel it appropriately.
So that is a perfect articulation, I think, of what I would have attempted to articulate right now and am struggling to do. But you just, I think, encapsulated it. So you had an experience a couple of years ago. It was like, oh my God, that was bonkers. And then a couple and other ones. And then living a certain amount of life and distance from being able to look back and connect some dots. So my question to you is, how is what's going on with you today going to be any different, do you think,
Mm.
than what's transpired to date, which is some experience, some crazy whatever, da da da, some degree of integration of that to whatever degree is possible and however that happens, and then some point in the future where it starts to make a little more sense. Now, that what I just described and what you just described of your own experience is, in my personal experience, and I don't know anything, uh, extremely common as we go and grow through life, as we expand our awareness, and as we, as human beings, for any of us who are so inclined, as we expand our awareness into metaphysics beyond the physical, you
Mm.
know, and that can be anything. That can be communicating with our higher selves and our spirit guides. It can be prayer and meditation. It could be working with energy in all kinds of different ways. um, it could be communicating with and doing work as light workers here as humans, that goes beyond our physical world, right? um, and it doesn't have to be, my whole personal thing is it doesn't have to be so crazy. So this is just this book that I wrote about my experience after my partner died, uh, is another example. And it was 20 years ago. And it's another example of expanding our awareness beyond the physical. So he dies. It's like, well, is that the end? Is it over? It's just worm food in the ground. I choose to believe otherwise. And so that's an example of it, right? Have I personally done what Christiana's doing? No, not at all. Do I know people that have? Have I seen it? Sure, all over the place. It's always interesting to me what the different aspects and angles that people have of any or all of this kind of activity, this kind of work, if you will.
Mm. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess you kind of maybe answer the question like it's already in motion, and the dots a year from now will be connecting to
Or a week from now, you
a
don't
week
really
from
know
now.
when, right?
Yes.
So what are you left with then? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off right there.
What am I left with?
Yeah. So if you let go of that human Christie in this lifetime desire, tendency to want to have it all figured out today, and if you move more into a place of trusting that, it's a process of unfolding that, unless we quash it, is not going to end. So if you let go of the urgency to know it all about it today, what are you left with?
Okay. Now, Stephen, I know you don't mess with the things in the zeitgeist, but you do know the X-Men, yes?
Yes. Well, I don't remember details, but I saw one of them, the first one.
Okay. Well,
People have to explain cultural touchstones to
yes.
me.
So I guess the only thing then is this like perfect analogy of like this phoenix rising, this version of me who's a little unhinged. And that's what happened with Jean Grey when she had the Phoenix. So she had telekinesis, she had the same thing, and they like tried to keep her controlled, but her
Mm-hmm.
sort of alter ego was the Phoenix, who was a little uncontrolled and unhinged and sort of, and I'm like, that's kind of where I'm going, but like not like it's still me having to, oh yeah, don't kill them. Okay. Don't send the bad energy. No worries.
Right.
Like I think there's the part of like, am I losing it? Like I sent you because so going back to the email, right? So I'm like, oh, here's this boy. What a terrible thing. I'm gonna send him. First, the thought was like, can you imagine what he's going through at 7 being abducted? And it was like, hard stop. No, because I had that experience Thursday where apparently just texting with somebody going through it, I absorbed that. So I was like, I'm not going to do that because I unwittingly absorb stuff. I
Right.
will not imagine what he's going through. What I can do instead is send him the healing
Yes.
and in that,
So
then
right there, Christy, right there, you are learning about yourself and energies and what fits for you and what doesn't. That right there is a huge, to me anyway, a huge example of that I want to just not brush over.
so then, I imagine, so then I guess it's like what's real, what's not real, right? Because I imagine like, okay, I'm going to send the healing light and energy, but now I'm going to do it with my guides and my spirit family because we can multiply if there's
Mhm.
more than, so then we start sending it. And that's when I have the thought like, well, I can send all this and I could feel it, right? I can feel that power that going through.
Moving through you. So
Yeah. And
you're
like,
a conduit, are you, and
right, it's
you're,
not me. It's not coming from me. It's coming
no,
through.
but you're a conduit, and as it comes out of you, are you shaping it? Are you directing it? Or is it just,
I just sent it to him, but I mean, maybe you could imagine like a little globe, like over
Mhm.
top, just um, so then the others they were sending. And that's when in that time, I don't know how much time had passed, but I'm just sending it. And then it was like, wait, if I can send all this light, maybe I should send some bad to those people who captured him because they're bad people. And that's when one of the guys was like, no, we never do that. Remember? And I was like, right, right, right. What they said in the hypnosis. So then it was like, well, I can't really be imagining you because I didn't imagine that. They corrected me. So now it's
Yeah.
like, well, what's real and what's not? Like, I imagine we would send it together. I don't know if they're real, but then they're giving me feedback. And so it's like, oh, well, not only are they real, but they're like, you know what I mean? So it's sort of like
Yes.
the split with reality. I'm like, what's happening right now? And
Well,
then,
that's why go ahead.
so then I just, okay, you're right. This makes sense now, what they showed me in the hypnosis. Why not to do the bad things because it's the same side of one coin. Like energy is energy. It's there isn't an actual like darker light. It's your intention for it, right? So it's like I'm intending to send love and healing to this boy. If I intend to send harm, that same thing is gonna go. It's the same energy. So it was like you're gonna hurt someone if you do that. I'm like, cool, I won't do that. So then fast forward, I wake up and I was like, I should send him energy. And then I hear them say, like, you should check, see if he was found before. Not that it would hurt him, but just check. I was like, okay, I checked. He was found. And so I was like, for all I know, we could have helped him be found?
Yeah. So what do you know now that you didn't know a week ago?
Um, all kinds of things, like all these little moments that has stacked up in the past were like part of that picture. The things that I heard in the hypnosis or were shown to me were like they didn't make sense then. And then they made sense now, like especially
Mhm.
when they were showing me like the dark magic, and they're like, "You never do this." I was like, "Why would I even do that? Why are you even bringing me down to this hideous dungeon? Would never do that." And then I'm like, "Kill him!" Oh, okay. I didn't say kill him, but like bad things happen. You shouldn't kidnap children. Like
Right.
in my mind, right? So
Mhm.
all kinds of things. I think, but when you ask like what essentially is if I just let go of the trying to control, it's maybe when I messaged the hypnosis lady, kind of to her point, she was like, the reason, like, she was like, we had these abilities for a long, long, long time. The whoever that wants to control in the 3D labeled y'all as witches and lunatics and whatever because you couldn't be controlled when you were aware of your actual abilities, whatever. So I guess that's the only part is as I'm like walking this out and like I don't fully recognize my own self, right? Because as I let this version emerge, it's like I can't even fully control it. And that's the part that kind of scares me is I don't know exactly then who I am if I'm not with all that conditioning. And yeah, does that make sense?
Yes. So let's just go to that question of who am I? Because it's fundamental to all of us who are living consciously. It's a question and an issue that arises, a challenge that arises very, very often in our human experiences. And what differentiates us here and those of us like this, like-minded, like-spirited other humans is that the we don't have identity crises the way so many of our peers do. You know, the person who worked 5 or 6 decades in a particular job and then is retired or retires and oh my God, who am I without this job? You know, the parent who whose child dies, who am I if I'm not the parent of this soul? Uh, who am I now that I have lost everything that I had or whatever it is? So here, and amongst other like-minded, like-spirited people, we start from the premise of the identity that we all share, which is we all got born on purpose for a purpose. We are all spiritual, non-physical beings flopping around in these human bodies for the sheer purpose of having all manner of experiences. An experience to work at one job for 50 years, an experience to explore metaphysics, an experience of being uh, a daughter, a sister, a friend, experiences of being a traveler, experiences of being a homebody, experience, etc., 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 no end.
This is what I'm getting. Those things that you are all mentioning, those identities were all considered acceptable in the
Mhm,
framework of this society we have. And I'm
mhm.
like, oh, actually, energy alchemist, I just refer to myself as the priestess now, and I'm just moving through the world as this priestess. And every time I think about whatever, it's like, well, what does this priestess want? I'm like, that identity has not been acceptable, hence, which is being burned, whatever. And so there's that
Yes.
part of me that's like, wants to be this feral, whole, a little crazy priestess who's like very powerful, very in her own whatever, and then kind of a little bit battling with that like whatever's trying to fit in the confines of society to not be like excluded or othered or yeah.
So we're living in a time as our consciousness expands or shifts or changes from whatever it has been into whatever it's becoming, a hallmark of it as we move into higher consciousness, a hallmark of it is the ever thinning of the veil between physical and non-physical that we experience so dramatically here by design. That was the whole experiment. That was the whole thing. Like, what's going to happen if we act and feel and make it seem like we are completely separate from source energy,
Mhm.
right? We can't do it entirely because we can't be here without some of it in us. But let's design something where we forget that that's the case, pretend that it isn't, and see what it's like to play around separate from God and source and energy, whatever you want to call it. So now, for any of us who are in this moment in time, which is all moments in time, right? Endeavoring on this planet, 8.4 billion of us or so, in this moment of transition where a few of us are inclined this way and aligned with this idea. Can you put yourself into that? Does that context help to remind you that what was deemed worthy of being burnt at the stake at some point in the past is changing also like everything else? And so that as we explore, generally speaking, the metaphysical world, the aspects of life and living beyond 3D here, it's not going to be the way it was before. It might look that way and seem that way.
Right. Yeah, and I think I'm still waiting for like some of those people to show up, because right now what is happening is still sort of a lot of like, I don't feel like I fit in the places that I used to be.
Yeah.
New places not haven't shown up because they have, but like sort of like this, what it was. It was September 20 because it was my sister's birthday. That's the only reason I know, because my dad came through and he said, "Oh, happy birthday." And I was like, "Oh my God." So that's not even a year ago when this dead lady came home with me. And
Right.
that was really the beginning of this, like, that was weird and has never happened
Mm-hmm.
before. And I should
Mm-hmm.
look into that. Uh,
So if I were you right now, I would be scooping up stories of other psychic mediums, energy workers, metaphysicians, and the stories, the memoir stories they've told about their own experiences, because I think you'll find some camaraderie there at a minimum and some connections. I don't know if you saw Jill saying that she's been in the same inquiry lately and appreciating the conversation, which you are welcome to join, Jill, if you'd care to, with Christiana or after. Um, because I think that you're not alone here. You're just not. None of us are ever, as we know, metaphysically.
yeah.
Uh, and so, we've talked, I think, in the past a little bit about, archetypes and well-worn paths, you know, and this one is also, it was always present, seems, people with certain gifts in certain societies and cultures, right? Uh, Including cultures that burned people like that at the stake or crucified them, etc. So if we are moving into a higher consciousness, if the veil of separation is thinning, then more and more and more of us are going to be having more and more of these experiences, and we're going to feel similarly about them.
Yes. Okay.
And I want to say something else in conjunction with intention setting and this conversation with Christiana, which is when you were talking earlier about, well, here's all the energy, it's not mine, it's coming kind of through me, but some degree of shaping it as it comes out. You're not just standing there and letting it go wherever it's going, right? That is exactly the process of intention setting. Energy, well-being constantly flowing to and through every human being on the planet, because that's just the way it goes. So if we just let it come and not know it, and we're not conscious of it, we're not paying attention to it, it just comes and comes and comes, and we might never really know the difference. However, when we are being intentional, it is the act of setting an intention that shapes the energy that comes to and through every single one of us. This is what it means to be intentional and to be conscious. If I don't know that's happening, I don't know it's happening. And I'm kind of missing opportunities every nanosecond of every day, right? Because all this energy, I can shape it. I can shape it into something that excites me and lights me up and interests me, or I can be ignorant of the whole thing and miss out on all of it. You know, we are not ignorant to that dynamic. And that is the act of intention setting. I think I don't think I definitely got that from Gary Zukav 30 something years ago in Seed of the Soul. That's why intention and choices are concepts in spiritual workout world. They were chapters in his book. Yes, I'll bet you, yes.
Um, so I guess then my question would be, do I just run with it? Because uh like I said, there's a part of me that's like a little bit afraid of what happens if I just run with this. This is your new avatar. We picked a new name. It's very interesting that this yoga retreat that I'm going on, I didn't see this as part of it, but she sent out a message saying we're going to have like everyone's gonna make an emperor, empress name. You're gonna make up a land, and like throughout the weekend, like that's what you're gonna refer to yourself to. I was like, I already got that. I already have a character. She's being born and created right now. She's a little crazy. Um, so I don't even like it just fits that it's like now I just get to run around and like be her and play with her for the whole weekend with all these other people, and they will call me by that name and all that. And so I that's the part that kind of scares me, because it's like I don't know how to explain that to people, right? Like, don't call me
You
Christine
have
anymore.
to.
No, but when we talk about like fitting in the world that I fit in, like, there's literally, besides here, like in my world, there's one person who I can be like, this is what's going on. And they get it. And they're like, cool, that sounds awesome. Did you blow up the Grand Canyon, by the way? Because we're supposed to go up to the Grand Canyon in October, which is now on fire. And I was like, I didn't have any negative thoughts about the Grand Canyon, I promise you. She is just like, okay, well, be careful, and doesn't judge me and doesn't think I'm crazy. She knows.
So have we not yet created, that was the royal we, uh, an intention for more like-minded, like-spirited friends?
Did.
Okay,
I did.
thought so. Yeah, so keep that one going for sure.
But so you didn't answer the question is like, do I lean into this avatar and like now we just go this way?
Or
Continue to like hold on to the old story, which is not serving.
which feels better to you? I have an answer, but it's your life.
Which feels better. I'm not as sure as it feels better as much as when we talk about like timeline splits. It's like this, I am no longer that. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Now it's whether or not I lean hard into it or I just sort of like softly let it roll. But it's kind
Or
of
a
like,
little of both. I don't know.
I
It
mean,
feels like all the energy
around
is in that direction. Just
I'm
feels like.
walking around referring to myself in the third person by my priestess name now. And so I ask, what does she want? What does she like? How's this gonna go? Does she even have a relationship with that person anymore? Because that was Christie's relationship. It feels a little crazy. That's all. I'm like,
I understand. So you're judging yourself and you're
okay.
you're prejudging other people. So there's just a
Wow.
lot of that there. And
Got to stay Steven.
hmm?
You got to stay Steven.
Well, here's the deal. It's going to come down to intention. So as you engage these new energies, let's just generically speaking, does it feel to you like your intention is more to just learn about it all and learn about new aspects of yourself for yourself? Or in this moment, as of this moment, does it feel like you're gathering uh, for an intention that would be more in service of helping other people with what you're learning? Do you have
Yeah.
a sense of one or the other of those at the moment? And it doesn't mean there are only two choices.
No, the purpose of the energy alchemist is, as we've talked about many times, about not only
Mhm.
being the crystal, like I will transmute whether I want to or not. And that's why we talked about it, where it was like part of why I don't have a job in the sense of like a medium or the hypnosis or whatever, because she was saying like the energy alchemists are they really just kind of like do it. It's not something you can do of service, like come visit me and I will alchemize your energy. It's more like something that's just constantly happening.
Mhm.
But obviously, I can also intentionally send it. And when we start that group back up in the fall, I will learn to fine tune that a little more. We will be, as a group, in a controlled environment, learning about that, my abilities, where everyone else is learning about their abilities. So it definitely
Mhm.
feels like it's in service,
Mhm.
but not
Okay.
as specific of like a job I can charge for.
All right. And could that possibly change still and evolve? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're more personal opinion, if you're more on the side of, yeah, this is not just a personal for me in my private cone of silence, I'm just in my laboratory and then I go live the rest of my life, then, that's one way to go and nothing wrong with that. The thing that has made the most sense to me, and I hope it comes across in the work I do, although I'm not a metaphysician, although I support metaphysics, right? Um, and as we evolve our consciousness, as the veil thins, it has been important to me to help to demystify a lot of this stuff and to, frankly, and this isn't just my idea, specifically not be weird about it. Now, look, we have to be our authentic selves, no doubt about it. But when we're talking about this kind of stuff, I've come across people who I felt like they had nuggets of stuff that was really interesting to me, and it was presented to me in such ways that did not resonate at all. I mean, I could just call it weird. It was just like, what is all this stuff? I'm looking at this. There's a little nugget in there somewhere that seems really juicy and fun and interesting, but is this the only way to get it? Because I don't like this, and I think I think for any of us who want to advance this work, to want to, for our own sake and the sake of others, not ignore using the energy that creates worlds in service of everything, um, that we've got to be able to present ourselves in ways that attract people. you know Now again, that's a fine line, and it's different for every practitioner and different for every potential audience member, right? But I do think that there's something to be said, personal opinion, for the demystification piece, which requires being able to connect with people. And I think it's just going to be part and parcel of your journey going forward. But when it comes to an intention anyway, you know, remembering that your intention is, however it's going to serve others, that's part of it. So if it's going to serve others, unless you're just going around invisibly and, putting fairy dust on everybody and that kind of thing, then, you're going to have to be able to connect with people too. Now, at the same time, look, I talk to dead people and I talk about talking to dead people, right? At a certain point, I'm not here to convince every single person, but I want to be able to do it. Maybe I'm succeeding, maybe I'm not, but I intend to do it in a way that, can pique people's interests instead of make them think of weirdness and run away.
I did get a message from someone yesterday who was telling me that, she had gotten fired, doged, and her husband is like halfway through cancer treatments. And I asked, could I send you the healing love and light? And I thought about Alta, and I was like, no, I don't know. And that maybe is the best part of this is like, I don't intend for outcome. I just send it.
Yes, right.
Same thing with the boy. I was like, I just
Yes,
send it.
good.
Did he get found? Yes. Did I sit there and go, find him, find him? No, I just sent the light and love.
Yeah.
So the outcome is your source. So as soon as she said he's going through treatment, and I was like, can I have permission to send you guys this or that? And that made me very excited because I was sitting there like, I don't know what to do with my life anymore, and then she was like, hey, this is what we're going through. I was like, great, because I have this new tool that I get to use. So here you
Yeah.
are. And for free. I'm not interested in, charging for that. So, yes, I asked permission. I didn't just do it, and keeping it palatable to your.
Yes. Yes. And how did that go for you? How was that exchange?
The
Mhm.
exchange was fine. She was happy to receive it. I think what is interesting is how it happened that, of course, in my mind. So a long time ago, like probably 2009 or 2010, I had a Vedic astrology reading in Sedona. And he told me then that like you're a healer and it comes out of your hands and you're very powerful. And at the time I was in massage therapy schools, like that makes sense. But, fast forward, it was like even in the hypnosis, they were showing coming into my hands, this or
Mm,
that. So I've been practicing with that. And like I see my hands kind of like glowing like orbs. And I just send so I was at the gym when she sent me the message, and in my mind was like, I will get in a meditation and I will send it to her when I'm done, and I came home and I started walking, and it was like I could feel my hands starting to like, I don't know how to say it, like charge up. And I was like, I guess it's happening now. And so I just send it through, as I was doing the walk. And it's like still learning about that like it really isn't mine because I could feel it. Like I don't know how to explain it. My hands starting to tingle and like getting, expansive. I was like, I guess we're sending it now.
mm.
So I think that's
And then did it go back to normal? Your
there
hand?
was two waves.
Mhm.
So it did, and then I felt it coming again, and I was like, I guess they need more. So I sent it, and then that was it.
One thing I love inside of that story is the reading from 10 years ago and the reading now with similar elements. That's what I often, when people that I come across who are wandering into spirituality and physics, it's you just got, there are no accidents. You're going to show up where you show up, and different sessions and things are all very different, but it's always about looking for the threads. you know what did this one is did this crazy practice, this one did this crazy practice, this one did another one, and then there's something in all of them that was the same. That's what I'm always looking
Yeah, like
for
that
that
information was essentially
validation.
useless to me 10 years ago, but now it's,
Right,
oh, that makes sense.
exactly. Or
Uh,
you thought it was something else only to
right.
discover it was this other thing. I've had a zillion of those.
So I guess that's the only other part, and then like learning about it, and then the tapping of in the message that I was like, I need more of some sort of cue that like this isn't mine, and I'm not exactly yet getting that. But what I have found is at least as a practice, if I start to feel, because I'm not yet sure how it works, even though it's going through me,
Mhm.
I still notice sometimes maybe somehow I'm still picking up stuff. And so I
So,
let it go tapping for a few minutes, and usually it's moved out. So then I'm like,
okay.
"Okay, so that's a cue that that's not mine," like we discussed. So
Mhm.
it might be something to either just start implementing that anytime I send it, either just do some quick let it go tapping at the end, or if I notice like there's a little biofeedback of like, "Oh, I'm feeling a
Mhm.
little funky," like it's usually like 3 or 4 minutes, 5 max. Then
And
I
all I would say is, and this is just based on knowing and watching and experiencing a number of different kinds of healers working with energy in different kinds of ways, that every single one of them is doing it differently than the way they used to do it when they first started. and then you can look back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to do that. Right now, I'm just getting the image of a wonderful healer friend that I had. And, she was new at this modality, brand new, and just sort of playing with it. And her client would sit in a chair like I'm sitting, then she's behind. So if I'm the client, she's behind me. She's got like 15 or 20 feet, and then she's got a thing of water, and then she's on the other side of the water, and she's doing stuff like this, and I'm just sitting there like doo, 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 and it's this big elaborate thing. And some months when we were working together at a thing where different practitioners were all spread out, and she she needed a lot of space. And some months went by, and there was another opportunity for a similar kind of event, and there I was, and there she was, and she now the thing of water was right under the client, and she didn't need the 15 or 20 feet or whatever it was, right? And she had just learned more about the energy,
Yeah.
and that's really it's constant. I've never seen it be anything other than ongoing, constant fine tuning until somebody reaches a place that says, okay, I'm very, very comfortable in whatever I've got going on here now. And so the uncertainty that you feel
Par
is
for the
commensurate with where you are in the process.
okay.
And the fact that you can, well, I'm going to go to spiritual workout, I'm going to raise my hand and have a conversation. You have not split with reality. You've not split. That's why the very first thing, all the image I have, again, I'm just one guy, but the image I have is not you're not what would you call it? Losing sight of reality or breaking from reality. You're expanding your reality. There's the reality here on the planet, and there's the reality beyond this planet. And zillions of realities within all that, or is it all just one big one? I don't know. But they're different, and yet walking between worlds. That's a thing in and of itself. That's a dynamic. That's another archetypal space and experience.
Okay. And just learning the it's like multifaceted, of like
Yeah.
this version of me who's learning all of these gifts and stuff while also dropping all of that like need for external validation. So like what I share with people on my social media, things like that, like there's like a shedding still, but it's still like kind of a tug of war of like uh and I know the ultimate end is like, if you don't vibe with me, block me. If you don't like what I'm sharing, delete me. Like, you don't have to be my
Yeah.
friend. And those who are still left and are interested or who's attracted, like, those are the ones that matter. So, but it's not like a just, oh, now it's this way, right? It's like this constant kind of, and these spaces, like, I was so confused. I went to this party, whatever. I thought it was a meditation room unveiling, which was even odd that we needed to have a party about that. And this is a group of gals I've been friends with for a long time. And it turned out she had changed the direction. It was no longer a meditation room, it was a gingerbread house room. I did not get the memo. So, like, at some point in time, I'm like, we're going to meditate. I thought that's why we're here. I led the meditation. And then I realized to be honest, I don't even know how many people did the meditation or just sat still for 10 minutes. But the point of this was like, again, like not feeling like I fit so much anymore in like this group of people because none of them were really interested in any of that. They just this is the group of Botox fillers, whatever. And I'm like, we're just not interested in the same kind of things. I want to sit here and meditate and y'all guys want to go out and tan, and that's a challenge,
Reminds me of the book clubs that are not about the books, they're about drinking wine.
I guess. Yeah. And so I was like, this is weird that I don't fit into this group of people anymore that I used to fit.
Well, that in and of itself is a step on the path of that you're on.
So that's all.
Relationships change always.
All right, that was, I don't know if that we got anywhere with intention, but it sounds like what I got from this was look into these books about other healers, metaphysical,
Yes,
whatever, and
metaphysicians and their
yeah, keep going, I guess, essentially.
and what I'm getting at there is they're all going to have some story of when things first started, what it was like when it first started, what it morphed into.
I gotcha. Even my Reiki lady said it changed for her when we met a few years ago because she did distance Reiki. She's the only Reiki person that like works for me. I can actually like feel something.
Mhm.
And I finally was like, I'm gonna go see you in person because then she was like, I can only read your chakras in person. And I told her that when I showed up, but she was like, "Oh, that was years ago. Now I can do it distance." And I was like, I drove all the way to Baltimore for nothing, but it's fine because I'm happy to be here." So she was explaining, like, even my gifts have evolved in the Reiki world. So
Yeah.
I don't have to, you don't have to be here in person if you don't want to.
And Reiki is something that's reasonably
Similar.
specific. It is what it is, right? And yet even a Reiki practitioner is gonna.
I'm not still 100% sure that Reiki's different. They say it is, but I'm like, isn't it all this? I don't know. I wouldn't say that to the Reiki people because I took
No,
the Reiki training and I was like,
it's
well,
serious, yeah.
what
Reiki
is
one,
it? How
Reiki
is it
two,
different than, you know,
and yeah,
fight with them?
maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows?
All right.
So we got a few minutes left if anybody else wants to chime in here. But Christiana, thank you so very much for sharing with us your exploits as you explore metaphysics.
Thank
There's
you.
more going on than what's going on, people.
All right, Sam, you can release me. And thank you, Stephen.
You're
To be
welcome.
continued.
Absolutely. See you
Yeah.
next week. Looks like our man has joined the house. Jill, I was welcoming you earlier, and did you have something else that you wanted to add or say about what we're talking about, or does somebody want to change the subject, or are you going to tell me that we're all done for today? I just want to reiterate something with regard to Christiana, which is, the premise of spiritual workout, the spiritual part is again and again that we see ourselves as spiritual, non-physical, eternal beings in bodies for the express purpose of having what we call human experiences. That's entirely it. So this practice is always encouraging us via this concept and maybe some of the others to expand and explore, expand into and explore what is beyond us. This is all our talk about getting in touch with the truth of who we are, with our higher selves, with our spirit guides, with prayer, meditation, feeling, two-way communication with non-physical. So not everybody who comes to spiritual workout has an affinity for developing that part, or I should rather say, we all kind of do it in different ways. But any of us who are in here long enough and play around with this concept of listening to inspiration are doing that. That is what we are doing. We're going beyond the physical for what else is available to us. Once we open that door, it's a vast, 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 vast universe, and there's no one way to do any of that. And they're all, you can take a step into it, or you can springboard out into it, or anything you want to do. So I always appreciate any and all conversations that we're having about our experiences that go beyond our physical lives here. And none of us have to be professionals or experts in any of it. It's all just, oh, there's something more over there. What is that? And then it goes from there. So really good. Thank you for that, Christiana. Good to know Jill. See, you're not alone. Jill's with you in one way or another. Comments, questions, parting shots for us?
Just the link for the forum post.
Thank you, Sam. So that is the link for today's forum. for today's clinic in the forum. The recording of this conversation today will be added later on. And going once, parting shots, going twice. All right, we will be back next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, drop-in tapping and intention setting. The week after that, the last drop-in of the month, we are going to be off on that Monday, but we'll be here Tuesday and Wednesday of that week. Thank you, Jill. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Joe.
And adios, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thanks, Sam.